Hey guys, welcome to another exciting episode of the Movieclips Instant Trailer Review Show. I'm Jimmy.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm JS.
So today we are taking a look at the Elysium trailer, but the second Elysium trailer.
Yes.
Now this is a much more fleshed out version.
Much better trailer.
Yeah, it's a much better trailer. And if you haven't seen our first impressions about the movie, you can check out the link in the description where we'll have a point to the first trailer review we did. But initial reactions to this?
This is the trailer I wish they gave us at the beginning. It's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about this movie.
Absolutely. Just jaw-dropping.
Yeah.
Lots of THX.
And there's a lot of, we kept on saying how much THX influence there seems to be in this trailer. And also I want to point out that every year, there are actually rules and guidelines and a lot of regulations that studios have to abide when they give an agency the opportunity to cut a trailer. One of those rules is that it has to be under 2 minutes and 30 seconds, right? Now, every year, a studio is allowed one movie, one trailer, to exceed 2 minutes and 30 seconds, to go into 3 minutes. Warner Brothers chose a 3-minute trailer for Man of Steel this year. You may remember a while back, Sony chose Girl with the Dragon Tattoo to do a 3-minute long trailer. And this year they're choosing a 3-minute trailer for Elysium. I think that's a great sign. Anytime you get a studio with a movie that's choosing 3 minutes, it means they really want to show as much of the film as they can because they're proud of it.
Now,
I think that's a great sign.
However, I will say this. After watching this trailer, as good as it is, let me start this thing off actually. As good as it is, I did have a feeling that maybe they showed
too much?
a little too much.
Okay, all right, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
That's fair to say about every single trailer.
That's true.
But yeah.
I mean, especially when you consider how vague the first trailer is. I mean, you're seeing some comedy here from Matt Damon.
Mm-hmm.
Ow.
Yeah.
So, robots in the future, guys. We thought the red lights in Culver City were bad.
Exactly.
This is going to be insane.
I like that kind of the kind of dude talking to him. That thing, it reminds me of like Fallout or Bioshock. Or
this
something.
is really a much grimier THX.
Yeah.
It's not like a utopia or dystopia anymore. It's like this really just.
And I want to say, if you look at the whole setup of the Elysium, the actual station, the circular motion and that kind of whole thing is actually based on NASA concept art from the 70s.
Yeah.
And you could see a lot of that.
Taurus, I believe. Right?
Yeah. Now, I think the idea that they were talking about, I mean, there's been jibber jabber about how you'd want to make a circular space station ever since like the early 1900s, because apparently it would create its own gravity.
What happens is, because of the way the torque of the space station, you create a centrifugal force. So if you think about when you're spinning you can take like a bucket and rotate it, as the thing stays on the out, and it'll stay on stay inside along the outside edge.
I love that.
So you're creating a force. That's why all the habitable zones are on the bottom there, because it's creating an artificial gravity.
Every sci-fi epic that has done their homework tends to use this. Like you go from like 2001: A Space Odyssey to Mass Effect.
I mean, this is what they're talking about doing, but on a much smaller scale, when they would do a human mission to Mars, where they would actually have a cable that would suspend basically a counterweight, and it would start spinning, so that the habitable pod that the astronauts were living in would have some sort of artificial gravity, because the journey to Mars would be like 9 months or something like that. So you would need, your bones would pretty much atrophy by that point, or bones and muscles would atrophy at that point.
I like it.
So anyway, let's continue. Enough science for one trailer.
And this is obviously, I mean, Neil's not above kind of obvious political undertones. District 9 was very kind of social in its context, and obviously this very much about immigration,
and healthcare,
healthcare especially, and kind of the 1%.
Gets pretty intense.
Absolutely.
And just that image of Elysium really evokes Halo. which it's well known that Blomkamp was going to direct a feature-length adaptation of that.
I mean, this is also a very THX sort of thing. You know, he's he's like a factory worker.
He's building robots.
Yeah. You know, it's very much like that scene in THX with Robert Duvall, and he's got the shaved head, and he has hands in like the nuclear reactor kind of thing.
Real Steel, guys. Real Steel.
It's like this is the prequel to Real Steel. Actually, we didn't tell you that part.
Yeah. So movies that this reminds me of
radiation poisoning.
Yeah. Right, which is why he needs to go to Elysium.
Right.
Now we were actually talking about this. Is this guy digital like the other? Because I have to say, a lot of the special effects are just so convincing to me. I mean, as well it was with District 9.
It's possible.
I don't know what that guy
this robot
does.
right here.
Yeah,
it's. I think this is definitely practical. Right.
Oh, you think so?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It's very possible.
I don't know. I hate to keep bringing up Real Still, but they actually use CGI and real robots.
Oh, they did. Kind of like the Stan Winston
pretty
effect,
good.
right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm sure there's elements that are practical.
And I just love the lived-in quality of this world that he's creating.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so dark and dirty, and you have graffiti, everything.
Yeah. It's kind of that thing that I missed from the original Star Wars.
So
like things look like they've been lived in.
In the first trailer, I made a prediction.
Right.
I said that I think that he has a daughter that is sick.
You did. I remember that.
The only way to save her is to take her to Elysium.
I remember that.
Now I know.
Did you read the script?
I did not read the script
because the script's been online apparently.
Now, from seeing this. We know that he doesn't have a daughter, but this girl has a daughter.
Right.
And she's very sick, and the only way that she can be saved is to go to Elysium.
And there's actually
but he also himself needs to get there in order to save his own life.
I wonder if it'll be
it's a twofold thing.
I wonder if it'll kind of be like Shalto Copley's kind of turn in District 9 where he starts getting this thing and he just wants to save himself and he's kind of a selfish kind of guy.
And then he's like, I'll sacrifice myself to save.
He grows the conscience throughout the course.
Yeah.
Very genuinely, in my opinion, with that film.
I
wonder if it'll be a similar thing.
I think that's very possible. I think he'll sacrifice himself to save
by the end.
And another common thread between this and District 9, it sort of has this Cronenbergian body horror.
Yeah,
because he's getting something attached to him or he's changing from within.
That's a great note. Yeah, absolutely.
So he can save. They're saying he can save everyone. Now, there's a really cool part coming up here where Jodie Foster says, "Unleash the sky."
Unleash the Kraken, which is basically which
unleash the Kruger.
I love that.
Yeah, and he's almost like a more refined version of what Matt Damon has become.
Yeah. He has like this bioengineered,
biomechanical sort of thing where he has almost like this motion control or something like that with his
right. It's like he has a little connect on his arm that just kind of does things. Now, how awesome is it that both Neil Blomkamp and Shalto Copley are capable of turning a guy best known for being a goofy kid in District 9 into like this war machine antagonist. I love that. That's great. And you're right. That kind of Cronenbergian thing was also in District 9 because he does kind of transform,
Yeah.
Now we start to see some minor product placement coming, but we already kind of touched on that. There's the Bugattis and the Nissans and all that stuff like that.
So much of this reminds me of like the Halo multiplayer. Do you guys play that at all?
I've never played Halo.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of levels that are just striking similar. Yeah.
I mean, the movie just looks ages more entertaining than the way it looked in the first trailer. I mean, not that the first trailer didn't look entertaining, but I mean, like this whole stuff with these like little microchips, these drones, and all that stuff.
And I don't really
much more action packed. Yeah, I love this though. This is I think going to be a major theme. Is like the contrasts. You have like this factory and there's like cherry blossoms.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
It's like this.
Yeah, and the petals are probably going to be floating.
Oh yeah, I mean you can see some stuff floating in the background. But I mean I think that's going to be like these stark contrasts between like the beauty of the world, but also kind of like the dark underbelly of it, and whether or not it's what is real and what is kind of
which is contrasted again on them. They are man and machine, sort of melding together.
Nature and kind of
the Cyborg.
Dude,
it looks great.
Neil's the real deal, which rhymes. I just made that up, but he's the real deal. I can't. It's going to be in IMAX and an AIM in 3D. That makes me happy too. That makes me really happy.
No,
I don't remember the last time I saw a film in IMAX that wasn't 3D. I think After Earth wasn't in 3D, but
correct. Yeah.
What about the test screenings they were saying?
Yeah, apparently the test screenings went through the roof with this movie. Like they did really well, and I know somebody who read the script who said it was really entertaining.
Now I have a question for you. When was the last time you saw District 9?
I bought it on Blu-ray recently,
and you never watched it.
I never watched it,
okay,
but I really want to watch it again.
No, but see, I have a very similar relationship with it. I saw it in the theater twice,
right,
and then I bought it on Blu-ray, and I think I watched it on Blu-ray once, and that was it.
Well,
but it's funny because like I'm so fond of the movie, but
right.
it's like almost like once you've experienced it, you almost just
it's interesting.
It's interesting, but there's like I don't feel like there's anything pulling me back to it, and I really hope that this movie has something more where it's like every single time I watch it, I'm picking up something new.
Well, you know, for me, District 9 came out when I was projecting at kind of like this art house in Baltimore, and it was one of a few movies that was like kind of tentpole big because we played mostly independent films. So I saw it like 4 or 5 times because I had to project all the time just to watch it. So I got District 9'd out by the end of that run.
Yeah, that's possible.
But you're right. That it's not a movie that you could really just throw on in the background because it's
you really
there's so much depth to the themes and there's so much weight to it that like it's not an entertaining film per se through and through.
Yeah. I mean it's dark and it's got a lot of commentary, and that typically doesn't tend to like be something you want to watch again and again and again.
Yeah. So, but this film I think looks like it'll have that commentary, but it'll also be a little bit more accessible to a lot of people, whether or not it's, you know, just because of the action or the effects or you know, the story or just Matt Damon. Matt Damon as your tentpole always helps.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, one thing we do want to ask is the idea of a 3-minute long trailer. NATO, actually, not the NATO you're thinking of, but the National Alliance of Theater Owners recently came out and they proposed a document to all studios that they want studios to abide, which consists of a few rules. One is that you can never have a trailer that exceeds 2 minutes in length. Another is that you can never show a trailer in theaters unless the movie is coming out at least within the window of 4 months after it. You can only show so many theaters, movies, blah, 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 or trailers, blah, blah, blah. Those are the 2 big rules. Do you think you could sell this movie in a 2-minute long trailer? The last trailer, I don't remember the length of it. I don't think it exceeded 2 minutes.
It was short.
It was pretty short.
Yeah.
And it didn't really do a great job in selling me. I mean, personally, I was excited for the movie already, but I wasn't excited because of the trailer. I was kind of excited in spite of the trailer, like just because of the talent involved. Yeah. Do you think it's... what do you think in terms of the limitations?
I think, I don't necessarily like that what the studios are saying about that, or what the NATO is saying about that. Specifically in regards to like the 4-month window, I think that you then, I mean that's a big take. I mean, like there are a lot of movies where it's like, you know, Man of Steel, for example. Man of Steel, I think the trailer came out like
with The Dark Knight Rises, right?
Yeah, I mean it was like a year early. Yeah. You know, as to say like next summer. Yeah. You know, it's just like, sorry, like I know Batman's ending, but don't worry, like this time next year you will have a movie that fills this void, this slot for you.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important to have.
At the same time,
but also it could water down the experience because you see that trailer over the course of a year and you're like, okay, I get it. You know, yeah. But I mean, I think if there are exceptions, like the 3-minute thing, for example, like each studio can pick one movie a year that they promote for, you know, more than outside of the 4-month window or something.
Right. Oh, that would be interesting if they do like a few, 1 or 2. That
as far as time lengths go, I think you can sell something in 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Right.
I completely agree. I think trailers are just too long these days, anyways. I think less is definitely more when it comes.
Less
to
is definitely more, and it'll force studios to either say to themselves, no more of these like, you know, meandering 2-minute long, where 70% of it is black with title cards.
Right.
You know, that's really the crap that I think they're trying to avoid.
Yeah.
You know, it's just. I get it. You're trying to like tease the audience, but at the same time, you know, less is more. Make it a minute long and just have it be like shot, title, and be done with it.
I completely agree. I can't think of a movie that needed to be that can't be sold in under 2 minutes. That being said, there are a lot of movies, a lot of trailers that I absolutely love that are 2:30. For me, it's a lot like politics in a weird way, and this will make sense. A policy under one administration might sound okay, but then when you realize that other administrations are going to follow and they're going to adhere to the same policy, like Mark Woolen and Associates cutting a 2.5 minute long trailer is fine with me because they never spoil a lot with me. They know what they're doing. Another agency or another studio doing kind of a 2 minute 30 might spoil too much.
Yeah.
So I think it's awkward balance. The 4 month window thing I think is interesting because I initially was very negative with that idea. I was like, no, I love trailers. I love that build up of hype, those tentpole movies, those event movies that we all get excited for.
4 months is crazy though.
I know, right?
Because if you think about it, like the classic model right now is like you have your holiday movies promoting or
summer movies.
Yeah, you know, debuting the trailers for the summer films, and the summer films are doing the same for the winter films.
Right. And sometimes, like you mentioned with Man of Steel, next summer's films.
Right. But I mean, what do you do then? I mean, it's for me, it seems kind of strange because, I mean, like if something premieres with World War Z is opening this weekend. World War Z opens Friday. A trailer premieres with World War Z. And it's not 4 months. I mean, Christmas isn't in 4 months. Christmas is in 6 months.
Right.
So, I mean, like Anchorman, there's a new Anchorman trailer premiering with World War Z. You couldn't be able to show that under this new thing.
Right. At the same time, I wonder if that model, because we do kind of think that there is kind of that idea now that these tentpole films that the studios rely like so much of their business on are kind of ruining, I don't want to say ruining because I love them, but are kind of making it harder for regular films to be made in the 20 to 40 to $50 million range.
Yeah.
And I do wonder if that event, if that rule of 4 months was in place, would it make it easier for studios to get behind those 20 to $50 million movies? Would it kind of take away the tentpole kind of things that we're relying on, which is kind of the same as saying, like, would that take away, you get rid of all the fast food joints and all the kind of 7-Elevens and stuff, would that make our society healthier? You know, would this make kind of our cinematic experience a little more vibrant or a little more rich? That's just the theory. It's nothing's in place. I still am not quite fond of the idea, to be honest, so I can't say. What I do know is that if the 4 month thing was in place, our channel will probably do a lot more because a lot more traffic.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they would still release things online.
And we could show longer online.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyway.
Yeah, sorry about that whole
little tangent there, but important.
Yeah.
It's important to keep the people informed. Exactly. So that was Elysium trailer 2. Again, we'll have a link in the description for the first trailer review we did, and comment and let us know what you think about the theater owners and also Elysium.
It's one of my most anticipated films this year, so I'm sure it is.
I'm very excited. So, but for the Instant Trailer Review Show, I'm Jimmy.
I'm Andrew.
I'm JS.
Thanks for watching.